Hello and welcome to Bros in the Bleachers podcast. Thank you for clicking on this video. We truly appreciate it. We got a fun show. We want to build a great community. So we want you guys stay and keep watching this video. So your support will not go unnoticed. We truly appreciate it. We want to be an engaging, fun atmosphere, something that you can listen to in the car, at home, whatever. So go ahead and hit subscribe, like the video, tell a friend, share the video as much as possible, and let's get right into it.
Holy crap, that's such a hit.
So they released their top 10 offenses. Colorado's number 8.
This moment in sports history will be remembered as one of the better fights, man. Like,
Put the cherry on top, they played Austria today. Guess the score of that game? 32-25 to not medal for bronze. Hello and welcome to Bros in the Bleachers podcast, episode 15. We are your hosts. I'm Drew.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Josh.
We are Bros in the Bleachers. We got a fun show on our hands. So let's get right into it. College football. What games do you guys want to get off your chest? Because a lot has happened.
I can go first. We'll talk just quickly about Notre Dame. I don't know if anybody really watched it or not, but personally for me, I know some people that have been on this train for a while, but maybe they shouldn't be a playoff team if they're just going to continue to falter against some action schools. Which Miami of Ohio, again, they're starting a hot 0-3, which is kind of crazy. But they've had a tough schedule. They caught Northwestern early, which is unfortunate for them, and then they lost to Cincinnati and scored a measly 3 points against Notre Dame. But yeah, that's like the second week in a row that they've kind of had a bad showing.
So now, since it's like last week after they got their butt whooped, they went out and just absolutely mud stomped. Who did they play last week? It doesn't matter, but whoever they played last week, and then now they had a letdown game early in the first half. So next week you got to bet them big.
They slapped Purdue last week.
Yep, there you go. So now you got to bet them to big because they're gonna be like, well, we just got our butt handed to us against a MAC school, so now we gotta run that score up.
I do like the science behind, playing into what the previous week happened. You gotta play into the fuel.
That'll be Louisville.
Ooh, that'll be a fun game.
A home game for Notre Dame. So
maybe Louisville pulls out some sneaker stuff. Josh, your next game you had.
Texas they had a good showing. Arch Manning, who knows? Quarterback controversy. We could talk about it. I don't know. I loved. There was a quick. Maybe I'll find it and show it to you guys. But there was a quick little shot where it was cut to him where he was like running to he was doing the classic Manning run, and they're like, oh, genetics are amazing because that guy athlete, he really might have gotten the correct amount of the arm and the leg from Cooper.
Oh, 100%. It definitely was a fun game, Drew. How'd the game go for you, bud?
I heard some guy bet $100 on the ULM Warhawk spread plus 44, like a ding dong, and yeah, that was me. I lost $100 on that spread. And I hated every second of it. Not a credit to not a fault to their own, but that ULM defense deserves a lot of credit. Got 2 picks off of him. General Booty is more like General Ass. Okay, because that guy cannot throw football down the field. I don't know what I was thinking. We're gonna regroup and get back into the war room and replan our thoughts. So,
hey, again. There's a lot of reflection that's going on to kind of start off the pod. I like it. It's not always about winning. It's, again, we'd rather go 0 for 30 than 0 for 9 because 0 for 9 means we stop shooting. Drew, let us know.
It's not like I said, hey, bet this, it's going to win like all these other dumbasses online that you see on TikTok. Oh, you got to bet this lock of the week. You missile war play. I said that missile war play with my own funds, but you could have either tailed and laughed at my misery or, tailed and lost money with me. But that's here or there. So,
hey, tough.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, I will tell you, at least that game from an Arch Manning perspective, it is cool to be able to see a guy who again, has sat behind Quinn Ewers, perennial Heisman candidate, I feel like for the last couple of years, and really just like stepped up and played at home. And again, just being able to see him play a little bit more, I don't want to say more dynamic than the other Manning quarterbacks, but Josh, to your point, I mean, he can move. It's a little bit scary, and it's
Oh yeah. Oh
that
yeah.
was always the big thing about the Mannings is that weren't necessarily the most elusive. So if he's the most elusive already, that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, their upcoming schedule is they play Mississippi next. So I mean, if Quinn Ewers isn't 100%, I think you can throw Arch back out there because Mississippi State looks terrible.
Bad.
And then it's a big rivalry game. So, if he's got a good showing, then you got to make a coaching decision there and figure out who you really want out there because that's a prep game up to who they play after that, which is Georgia. So
Maybe I should take that spread. That kind of sounds good. Are you guys in?
Hey, there
is
you
it
go.
already,
Maybe.
what is it? What is it already? Let me see. Is it like 36 and a half?
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Okay, fine. I do want to know. I'm gonna look it up right now. Week 5, SEC. Bear with us, viewers and listeners.
I'm gonna guess 42 and a half.
Texas. Here we go.
39 and a half. That's what I'm saying.
No
I'm
way.
guessing.
38 and a half.
Oh man.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh.
I'm a dog.
I was close the first time.
Now, by math again, Mississippi State's better than ULM, so I should probably.
No, see again. You had some really good pieces right there, and that one you lost.
Jake, I know I'm not betting against a generational talent of quarterback.
Again.
Yeah, again, we're not avoiding that out of all
The
costs.
genes.
But I got a game I want to get off my chest. USC versus Michigan. Lincoln Riley can't stop screens in a run game.
No.
I mean,
that was an ugly game from Billard Moss and USC.
very
ugly game.
Mhm.
And that offense just could not run efficiently. And again, Michigan at home is a hard environment to play in. We all know that. Again, that defense is stout. But for USC to be, I think, what were they, 11 going 13 or 11, something like that, going into the game?
I think
that
they were
is
11. Yeah.
Yeah, that did not look like the 11th best team in the country right there. That looks like a
No.
far drop off from
it didn't.
from
They
what's towards the
abandoned
top.
the run in the first half completely,
Gone.
and then
Mhm.
what are we gonna do? Oh, what's the defense gonna be expecting? A freaking pass play. So obviously they're gonna sit back in coverage.
Well, see, at least you didn't lose $100 on that game, Drew.
Oh my god, I would have vomited after seeing them score on 4th and goal on inches when they literally should have stopped it. Oh, what were they gonna do? Pass it? No, that Ology, whatever the hell their quarterback is. Oh, I knew it. Like you had 32 passing yards the whole game, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Tough day.
It's orgy.
Yeah, orgy, schmorgy, lemons. I don't fuck.
Tough weekend for our guy right over here. But there's a game I want to jump onto because it actually wasn't even a game on Saturday. It was a game on Friday, and it was San Jose State versus Washington State. Please tell me that you guys stayed up and watched the game.
No.
I watched the first quarter, fell asleep, woke up at 2 a.m. and saw I had like a minute left in the game.
Unreal. Absolutely great
my
matchup.
God.
That's the kind of football that I want to see on Friday nights. You know what I mean? Where it's spotlighted. There's nothing else going on. Let's see more of it. We've talked about him before, but John Mateer is just a badass and just continues to be one. Passing wise, 24 of 46, 390 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 INTs, and then led the team in rushing with 18 rushes
Gunslinger
for 111 yards and a touchdown. So Buddy is just leading that team, and it was scary. I mean, San Jose State definitely showed up, and it was kind of one of those things that we were a little bit worried about maybe coming into about halftime. But prior to the game, I thought this was a no sweat from Washington State. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean they were a heavily big favorite, and I'm surprised with Brett Brennan going to Arizona and bringing some of his good players with him. That was really impressive from San Jose what they did to be able to compete and make it a 2-point loss. I mean, they should not hold any quarrels about losing that game.
Crazy competitive, but again, that's the kind of football that we need to see leading into these bigger games that we're seeing on Saturdays and Sundays. You know what I mean? Because personally, the game that I had, at least for Saturday morning, not necessarily pinned leading into the weekend, but as I'm scrolling through the slate, I liked what I saw, and we've talked about how I have a burning passion against Vatek. So I was riding with Rutgers this
Yep.
weekend, and we had Rutgers money line, which definitely was nice. But I'll tell you that I think that this Vatek team, they showed a little bit of spark towards the end, and it was one of those things that now I've watched a couple of these games. I was kind of impressed. I was like, damn. Maybe I don't hate you guys that much. And then they crumbled. And Rutgers, they had their season low in rushing performance. And,
Oh.
I think this goes back to I hate Vatek. Rutgers may or may not be a wagon, but really, how many of these Big Ten teams are we going to see? Like a lot of these teams are starting to look like really, really solid. And with 12 teams
Oh, yeah.
now, like is 4 too much to say? Like, I don't know. Is that crazy?
No, I think 4 is certainly a good number to be in on.
Are you talking about teams that make the playoffs from the
Yeah,
Big
team to
Ten?
make the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Illinois had a big win. Michigan, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State, maybe
Mhm.
USC. So that's what,
That's
like
crazy.
six right there. Half
Yeah.
the playoff spots. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I
I
feel
think I don't know. I think the magic number will just be what 1 or 2 losses, and it'll be how egregious is that second loss
fair.
comparatively to a good SEC school. ACC will, who knows how many will be from there, but I hopefully more group of fives.
I agree. It was definitely not my favorite game of the weekend. I will tell you that, but a nice little dog win with Rutgers money line. So let's go. One for the
Oh, yeah.
bros.
I got I got a good talking point to
Yeah,
touch on
finally.
that. I mean, I know some people that were they were hot on talking about how good will the new teams that are being added to the Big Ten play, and there's been some early struggles. I mean, USC versus Michigan, we just touched on that. Like it was, I mean, they just out physical them, which was I think the worry that I talked about. I don't know 4 or 5 episodes ago. And yeah, UCLA lost to Indiana. I mean, I don't know how how impressive they were going to be, anyways. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that too.
It's bigger competition. I mean, you're seeing teams that everyone kind of thinks that they can just walk into the conference and it's the same level of competition, and this is just on to the next one. And I feel like, again, to your point, there's probably more pieces behind the actual program that still really need to develop for it to like really catch up. You know what I mean? And again, maybe it's strength training, maybe it's a simple corn-fed
Yep.
linemen that are known from coming from the Midwest, right? Like these former Pac-12
Yeah.
schools are going to have to really be able to show up.
Mhm.
Maybe they should do this new thing in football called the run game, developing a run game. Maybe they should do that. Maybe they should
That's
establish the run. It's pretty new. I don't know if they've heard of it yet.
what a Marvel
Yep.
idea.
And yeah, and speaking of run game, I mean, Michigan, they have a rematch with Washington, which will be, a
Mm,
CFP championship rematch. I mean, there's a lot of different pieces on both of those sides of the team, but still, I mean, still a fun matchup to see. How that's a tough matchup because
I was going to say like early
you got
predictions.
Fish.
What do we have on that?
I mean, I don't want Michigan to do well, but I also don't want Fish to do well.
Right.
But I also, if Michigan's a dog, I'm slapping the Michigan number. If they're favored by 3, 4, 5, still probably slapping it.
Well, I'll tell you that it's a home game, and I'm looking it up right now, at least for what the spread is. But my gut is telling me to take Michigan. I feel like them getting that game at home versus USC. I'm not saying take spread, put nuclear missile, put it in your parlay, right? The Mr. Beast glass shattering parlay,
Go deep.
right? But I think that Michigan really just beat the wheels off of USC, and frankly, I'm not going to say that they're going to be one of those teams that's going to immediately be in that kind of nod to make it to the playoff. But they kind of look like a wagon.
I mean,
Well,
they're kind of a team. No, I don't
Let's
know.
not get ahead of
that.
ourselves. They don't have a
take
quarterback. They
no.
can't pass the ball. Eventually, the wheels will fall off, and they're going to
Yeah.
be able to fall flat on
Yeah.
their face again, like they did against Texas.
It takes 60 minutes to win it. They have to play the whole 60 minutes, and that's dangerous.
But to your point, Jake, yeah, they did look really good. That offensive line had a lot of cohesion.
And even the defensive line was just blowing up what it seemed like is USC's bread and butter.
Oh
of
my
like
God, Mason
inside
Graham was a
run.
bowling ball coming up through the middle.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. And again, even USC's major point of offense has really been coming from screens. And it just seems like Michigan was reading it early and was just blowing it up. It was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Not that I'm a huge Michigan fan by any means. I wouldn't
No, I
even
mean,
say
and
I'm
we
even kind of a Michigan fan.
honestly, to balance it out a little bit, I mean, I want to talk about Ohio State. I mean, they look tremendous. I mean, they really haven't. The schedule hasn't. It is what it is. They play who's in front of them, but Will Howard continues to roll on 275 passing yards, 2 TDs. I mean, they look so much more dominant with him than Kyle McCord, who he kind of faltered in the last matchup that he had. And I heard the announcer talking about how he's going to be like, oh, he's probably like a top 10 guy. Or he'll maybe make it to the NFL. He'll make it to the NFL for sure. And I'm like, shut. I'm like, no, no.
It's a little tough.
I'm like, if you falter at Ohio State, like, how do they expect you to then make it to the NFL and continue to thrive? Like,
Hey, listen, there have been a couple of people that have faltered at Ohio State or have left and gone to different schools and have done pretty well.
oh yeah,
There's a decent list.
there's a decent amount, but he's not one of them.
Yeah, no, he's not that. You're not that guy, pal.
And yeah, just a special shout out to Kashawn Judkins, 173 rushing yards on 14 attempts and 2 TDs. He's the bell cow now, and you should ring the bell.
Should we have a bell cow of the week for just a running back? We should just have a bell cow of the week.
I like that. Okay.
I mean, I would obviously push my Genty agenda, but he didn't get a touchdown this week, unfortunately. So still he was still averaging 11 and a half yards a touch. So I mean, still
Heisman stock watch.
It's up. It's up. But Kashawn Judkins, I mean, he was just, anytime he touched the ball, he's literally built like a wide receiver, but he has just insane balance.
I will say, I think the best part about looking into futures, and especially with like Heisman futures, is that like the earlier you talk about them and the later, in the season you start listening to them, like the better and worse that they sound, right? So there were a couple of guys that I feel like that we talked about a few weeks ago that stocks have dramatically they're like Enron. They're down.
Oh, Genty was
down,
like
brother.
He was like 3,000 a week ago, and now I think he's 2,200.
Climbing up the boards.
Yeah.
But that'll wrap up our college football talk. We head to the pros. NFL, we go to Thursday night. The Jets beat the Patriots in a demanding win, 24-3. Did either of you guys watch that game? Because I did not.
Oh, I did. We talked about it last week on the pod. Hell yeah, I was watching it. That's an interdivision matchup, baby. It was great.
Heck out of it.
I did not. I was caught up with something. I was caught up with work. But from what it seemed, Aaron Rodgers has his groove back.
Oh, dude, he was slicing and dicing. It was vintage Aaron Rodgers. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I still nailed a bunch of unders in that game, and that felt great because it was just a dirty, sloppy divisional matchup for some AFC
primetime unders.
Oh man, living it.
The Patriots run game did not show up to play. Antonio Gibson got some late carries with 5 rushes for 29 yards total, and Ramondre Stevenson just got ate up by that Jets D line.
Yeah, I at this point I think it goes down with the Patriots are really gonna have a tough time in that division. I have a feeling going forward, especially in Miami. Yeah, for sure. But again, Miami was a little bit kind of gross today. So that might be an easy, if Tua's not healthy for a long time, that might be your easy like 4th team in the division. But man, the Patriots were not looking great.
Oh yeah. I got such a good story about like how deserved that is. Like I think a year to date from now, like maybe a week prior, I was in New England for the opener against Miami, and to the right of my girlfriend, there was a guy that was sitting there, and he was like head in hand, like, oh, they always do this, they always lose, like, oh, we're just the worst team. I can't believe it. And he literally like this was like the middle of the second quarter, and he just left. And Emily's like, this guy over, and my girlfriend's a Browns fan. So she's like, what is this guy talking about? And I was just like, what is he talking about? And yeah, we were so offended by this guy.
To Patriots fans' credit, they were awful prior to 2000.
Yeah.
So
no, but he might have been 2 years older than us. So like,
he's one of those guys. Then screw him. Enjoy your mediocrity in the basement for the hopefully more than like 5 decades.
5 decades.
Yeah, screw it. They got 6 Super Bowls. Enjoy it.
Start the
That's
timer.
what-
I'm gonna put it in my calendar right now. 5 decades from now, we're gonna check on how the
Hey,
Patriots are doing.
in the new iOS on Apple, you can send text yourself in the future. You should send it for 50 years from now. How many Super Bowls had the Patriots won during that amount of time?
Imagine if Drew like changes his number and it just sends to some random person and they're just like, "What? I'm a Cardinals fan."
Wow, that would low key, that technology is going to mess with some people.
Oh yeah.
And then moving on, we have the Denver Broncos beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-7. Who saw this coming?
That was
not my
weird,
wallet.
man.
It's bow
That was-
time.
It's both, dude. Are they legit? Like again, I know they were 0-2 going into this, but like that was a good road win, and Tampa is a good team going into that game.
Mhm.
So
I mean, Vita Vea was out. That I saw that. And that
Fair.
made me go. I was like,
That's huge.
Yeah.
Wish I knew that.
I mean, but I mean, and again with that, like he scrambled like a moaf. Like he was just every time I looked up, he was just cruising around.
Yeah, he was mobile, and again, I'm not going to say that he looks like a top 10 quarterback because he doesn't, but that offense at least was clicking today, and I think that
Mhm.
makes them, better than a bottom 20 offense. And if that can, move in that momentum for, let's call it 5-6 weeks in a row, that's going to again be another fun kind of AFC wild card position to be in too.
Absolutely.
It was really surprising because they barely lost to Seattle. They put up a fight. Pittsburgh was brutal. We glossed over that game pretty quickly last week, Jake. And then coming into Tampa Bay and the Heat, just being able to, I guess, beat up on that defense was quite surprising.
Yeah, it was pretty surprising. Again, I think that for all of things being said, fantasy owners of Cortland Sutton are finally like, rejoicing and seeing him being involved in the offense. I think he caught around 7 balls, got at least over 60 yards. So again,
Oh, yeah.
people are happy in that regard. That offense is still pretty damn confusing to me, though. I don't understand who scores. It doesn't make sense. Bo Nix is now in these 3 games. He does not have a passing touchdown,
I mean,
and
yeah.
I get it, like rookie quarterback, whatever. But like that's just crazy. Like
But
I feel
they're
like
just Sean Paytoning, man. It's just, it's old school. It's like if we're in the red zone, we're handing the rock off.
sure,
We're
yeah, I
settling
guess
for field goals. We're getting points and we're getting out.
yeah, true. Well, that's at least a team that can settle in and get points. I know that you were probably screaming at your TV watching the Eagles game for a portion of that too, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll get there.
We can get right into that. We had Eagles rolling in to NOLA and beating them 15-12. Josh, how was the roller coaster of watching that game?
I mean, it was kind of similar to the Packers game where we were very lucky to only be down 3-0 into the half, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm still ready for Nick Sirianni to walk home a little bit, honestly.
Your defense showed up. That
They
was
did.
great.
True.
And the thing that's frustrating is that this is a known rule for Eagles football is that the offense and the defense does not play great at the same exact time. That's just, it can't happen. And it's kind of a little bit what happened with Arizona this season is like the defense shows up, but then the offense is like, and then the offense shows up, and the defense is like, and I just can't handle that.
And how does it feel without having AJ Brown that Saquon Barkley is your entire offense?
I mean, Dallas Goedert had a good day. They finally were like, oh, hey, he's here.
True. He did get a lot of targets, and obviously he caught like the one big ball. I think,
Oh, yeah.
Drew,
like
to your
10
point,
for 170.
yeah, Saquon owners are thriving right now. I being one of them.
Eating.
Oh, it's delightful. It's good to see a guy like him be able to be on an offense and get those fantasy points for a team that actually ends up winning the game. Like all too often is like Saquon. Like I just remember him from like 2-3 years back of being able to get like, oh, he has 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, both receiving and rushing, and the Giants lost in a 40-39 game. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh shit, like so it's again.
Some prime
I'm
Shohei numbers in the loss.
Yeah, we already know what team I'm a fan of, but I sulk into my corner. But not seeing the Eagles thrive is a big thing, but seeing Saquon thrive on a winning team is cool.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just to continue to touch on it real fast is that like the whole thing with me is just coaching. Like part of the annoyance with when they use Saquon is like they kind of use him to like get out of like deep of their own zone, and then they like get past half, and then they just pull him out, put Gainwell in, it stalls on like the 40-yard line. It's like an awkward field goal. Do you go for it situation? Then they go to fourth down or just try to play to get to 4th and 1, 4th and 2, try to Philly special their way out. You got a hurt O-line. There's just weird coaching decisions. Kick a field goal, get the points.
Yeah, your coach hates field goals and just taking easy points.
We paid Jake Elliott. I guess the guy's almost better than the backup quarterback as far as like his, pay to play ratio.
And then to move on to the flip side of the coin, the Saints marching ceased as the Super Bowl hype has it ended, Jake.
It's gone. I mean, listen, the offense looked like shit, and I think that at the end of the day, I'm very happy with what we said last week, in that the Saints are a little bit. Hold on, let me.
Derek Carr, just like I said.
Dude, Derek Carr, again, playing against good teams, he just does not play in good games, and I feel like the stat padding, even in a game like this, like didn't even really show up just because Philly was able to Philly,
I mean, yeah, they kind of just should have just hitting the Olave button, and that would have been kind of nice.
He looks
out of it for
impressive right now. He's just getting around everybody. It's nuts.
Oh yeah, good route runner, fundamental football. Whew.
And then we transition from one Pennsylvania team to the next one. Pittsburgh Steelers defeat the San Diego Chargers. Los Angeles Chargers 20-10. Pretty crazy game, just absolute ugly football. And
Gross.
Justin Herbert, injured ankle going into the game, goes out. Should have read the scouting report. Steelers win. I took that bet. That's the only bet I probably won today.
That's pretty solid.
I hammered the Steelers too. And I mean, again, I have some QB controversies. Justin Field, hot. You're 3-0 with him. Are you telling? What are we doing? What are we doing next week? If Russell's healthy, are you guys starting him?
No, you're playing Fields. I will tell you that I think that they're on fraud watch at 3-0. I don't think that they're a legit 3-0. I think that their defense
I think
their defense makes them 3-0. Their offense does not make them 3-0. You know what I mean?
I mean, but like it kind of depends. If Fields' house of cards collapses, then the defense still kind of bails him out.
Fair, but I mean, even today, like if he plays like an actual quarterback, then
he had a good day too. He had a really good day today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he played very well today, but like if we see Justin Fields do some stuff like he did, a year ago, and it's just
like that I'm defending the Steelers, but I'm gonna do it.
That's good stuff. No, but go for it, Drew.
No, Justin Fields looked terrible in the first half. It was awful. I was hating every freaking minute watching it.
Stat wise, we're talking.
Yeah.
And then he had a big play down the field with Calvin Austin, I believe.
Yeah.
That really helped us pad the stats, and good touchdown, and that pretty much sealed the game for them.
But I think that gives you a lot better stuff than anything that Russell will give you.
Yeah,
I agree.
Mr. Unlimited.
He's going to get unlimited minutes on the bench is what it's looking like right now.
Codes for danger witches too.
Sucks to be a Denver fan paying all that money. We then transition into the land of Minnesota. Vikings shockingly beat and destroyed the Houston Texans 34-7. Another,
that's nuts.
Who saw this coming?
No, yeah.
Nobody. I mean, I will tell you that again, Vikings offense, kind of similar to what I guess we saw out of the Saints the 2 prior weeks, is that they just have so many weapons. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like there's so many people that are actually getting involved. And sure, you've got your star player with both the Saints and the Vikings, with Vikings with Jefferson, and obviously with the Saints, it's Kamara. So just being able to like see those two offenses, like not have to completely rely on that guy to be able to produce today, was kind of fun.
I think Brian Flores, as a defensive coordinator, should just stay as defensive coordinator because he does his job really well. This Vikings defense from last year has just flipped on its head. It's a totally different defense.
Brian Flores.
Yeah, it's absolute destroyer.
Yeah. Yeah, and now he's got CJ Stroud right in his sights. I mean, yeah, he just looked kind of bad against the blitz.
Yeah, I don't know. I watched more of the Vikings just dominate on offense than I did the Texans struggle. Not having Joe Mixon probably didn't help either.
Definitely hurts.
CJ Stroud throwing 2 picks. You don't see that happen often through his.
No, and that could be the year 2 blues. I mean, hey, what are you going to do when we send everybody?
Right.
But
Exactly what Jalen Hurts is kind of, he's in his 4th year still trying to deal with that.
But Sam Darnold and Aaron Jones, man, what a combo. And Justin Jefferson. Like you said, Jake, all those weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow it all works too. Like when did Sam Darnold be able to like take puzzle pieces and actually like be able to put them together? You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's been times like, sure, like he maybe got like a bad draw, like, what he was drafted the Jets, right? And like
Jets,
yeah, and like the weapons around him with the Jets, I can't say of anybody too remarkable that anybody can
Robbie
note.
Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. So like the fact that he's
he's
getting
still
presented,
around.
I know, but yeah, at least from a Darnold perspective, he's now getting weapons put in front of him, and it looks like it's some good corner puzzle pieces that are actually kind of completing the picture. So, damn, I don't know. Is Sam Darnold back? That's crazy.
What are the Kevin McConnell Coach of the Year odds?
Oh, I love that. I love that. Where do I find that?
You would know, you degenerate.
I mean, listen, like if the Vikings end up coming back, where'd they finish last year? They had to have finished with what? Less than
They
9
weren't
wins.
good. They got
No, there's no way they sniffed 9 wins last year.
Yeah.
I'll look it up too.
I got it right here.
Oh, lay it on us.
The Vikings finished with 7 wins last year, and missed the playoffs. But if they come back to the playoffs this year, again, maybe a 7-win team doesn't sound as cool as comeback kind of coach. Or I'm sorry, coach? This is for Coach of the Year, but man, I don't know.
They play Green Bay next week. They play Green Bay in Green
Big
Bay.
game.
Was Jordan Love going to get rushed to come back to the game? Who knows? Well, we will see. Let's go
real quick to circle back. The Coach of the Year odds right now. Jim Harbaugh is, according to Vegas Insider, who knows where that's reputable to, but Jim Harbaugh's leading plus 650. I don't know who Mac McDonald.
That's
that's the Seattle. Right? Yeah, Seattle Seahawks.
Oh yeah, and then Kevin O'Connell's also tied with him at plus 800.
I like that.
Hammer
there's
too
Jake. Many there's McDonald's. There's
had a farm, and somebody has a farm
McFlurry.
In Green Bay, Wisconsin. Green Bay smacks Will Levis in the face, 30-14. Titans are in turmoil. Malik
the memes roll.
Yeah, let it roll. The cheese wheel rolls in Wisconsin.
Oh yeah. I feel like, again, maybe bettors were a little bit scared because I heard that there were rumors of Jordan Love coming back, but it was Packers every day for sure. Like that Packers team looks not great, but they definitely are producing for sure. But
they're well coached.
Yeah, exactly. They're well coached. And when it comes to the Titans, that team and Will Levis, they just look scared, man. Like on all sides of the ball. I mean, the whole defeat Cobra thing from last week to this week is just
this week too, yeah.
There's some
Cobra.
That's some bad stuff, brother.
Mm-hmm. Vibes are funky.
Yeah,
very funky.
And we're gonna go to Indianapolis, where the Colts defeat the Chicago Bears. Now, Caleb Williams, 2 touchdowns. Is that a win for Chicago?
Despite the loss, it's a step.
It's a step for sure.
I mean, until they get rid of Eberflus, I think it's just until they get rid of Eberflus, I don't think it matters what's going on there.
Caleb, I mean, listen, we've all known about this. We saw it last year when he was at USC. Like he is dynamic, like he's able to like be able to make some plays and get out of the pocket and like be able to make some nice throws. And there were some times that he made some great throws. Again, I will say that I love the Hail Mary. I think it was going into halftime where DJ Moore caught it and they landed on the 1-yard line. And Brutal. It's like a damn, like, there's moments where like his stats, like at the end of that game could have looked like pretty damn good. But at the end of the day,
52 attempts.
Yeah, that's too many for him. You know what I mean? I feel like in anybody's opinion, that's probably, I'm not going to say double the amount that you want to see, but probably 1.5x, what you want to see.
I mean, and the Eagles O-line continues to get running backs paid, which is all they can do. Shout out DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. DeAndre Swift finally, showing a little bit of value.
He'll probably have a little bit better game next week, Caleb Williams. I think they should win against the Rams next week at home in Chicago. I think that should be hopefully a get-back game for him.
Maybe. Yeah, the Bears defense is good.
And then we're going to have to take the Steelers again because that's who the Colts play next week in Pittsburgh. Anthony Richardson is having a tough stretch.
Agreed. Yeah, that's the Steelers defense all day. And again, I'm putting them on fraud watch at 3-0. I just want everybody to know this. I'm taking them next week too. So when I say that they're on fraud watch at 4-0 next week, this is I just don't know. I don't see it all coming together outside of like again, if this is one of those classic teams where your defense just like carries you all throughout the season, like a 2000s Ravens or whatever, sure, let's see it, but I'm just not convinced.
I mean, yeah, they all just have to again, land at the altar of Patrick Mahomes and try to see if they can slay the giant.
Let's see.
Will any of the defenses be enough?
That'll be remain to be seen. And we go to Cleveland, Ohio. The New York Giants beat them 21-15. Malik Neighbors makes Daniel Jones look like an elite quarterback.
So crazy too. He actually looked like Daniel Jones completing passes. Like what? What are we doing here? But Malik Neighbors is looking like the top draft pick, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Unfortunately for all of us.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
well, for now.
Except, but he couldn't beat a real team in Washington. So
exactly, Browns are a week by week team.
Right. And again, Deshaun Watson, when he gets the ball late in the game, I will tell you, I sprinkled a little bit of live on Cleveland, and man, I'm regretting it because Deshaun Watson again, that offense just is scary, and he's not looking good.
And the O-line is hurt, and they're not
right.
good either. And now Amari Cooper's out, and I don't know about Njoku. I don't know how he'll be next week, but yeah.
Who does Cleveland play next week?
They will be playing Las Vegas Raiders in Vegas.
Yeah.
Man, that might be a get right game for the Raiders, and we just might have to take that blind.
Sounds like another disgusting game. To be
they're
honest.
all gonna be gross.
We're gonna fight in the under trenches.
There you go.
That's the truth. Not too much to talk about there. So that ends the 1 p.m. slate. We move on to the afternoon. Seattle beats Miami 24-3. Imagine being Miami traveling all that way just to lose.
Imagine being Tua all concussed sitting on the plane, probably watching McGruber too with his head coach all the way there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. I saw a bunch of opinions that were like, if you're Tua and you're on the IR for concussions, why are you flying all the way across the country for your team? But it's like, football. But I mean, the Dolphins are it's going to be a long season for them.
Long year, man. Skylar Thompson, not the guy.
South Florida is going to be around for Panther season. And
Yep, that'll be true. And it'll be a great game when the Dolphins play the Patriots in 2 weeks. Can't wait for that.
Oh my God, I'm going to be enjoying my slop.
But Seattle, probably if this game had Tua, it'd be probably a lot more competitive because Geno threw 2 bad interceptions. DK went off. Charbonnet carried the load without Kenneth Walker. Seattle rolls on to next week.
Rolling on. Especially, I will tell you, it was definitely fun being an owner of the handcuff with Charbonnet and Walker. Just to be able to flip that right in because again, Charbonnet just dog walked that Miami team. It was great.
And speaking of dog walking, the Red Rifle beats the Las Vegas Raiders. Carolina gets their first win on the board, 36-22. Another, who saw this coming, or is Bryce Young just that bad?
I mean, I kind of just want to rail as far as like a what is it, a front office kind of a thing where it's like, if you're the Panthers and you're probably going to get the number 1 overall pick, like why are you winning this game? But also like, if you're Andy Dalton and you're just like, hey man, you're paying me to sling it, and I'm just gonna sling it because that Red Rifle does not have rust.
Doesn't have rust. That's so good.
Rust in the hair, but not on the rifle.
No, Dalton looked good, man. I mean, it was one of those things where, to your point, I feel like the front office of that organization is just so kind of grimy. And then again, you bring
especially
in somebody,
if the Giants win.
Yeah. And then, again, a guy like Andy Dalton is simply just looking to add more wins to the stat book. So then somebody
Mhm.
signs him year over year over year and be like that veteran quarterback that's there. Right. And he showed up. Like it was cool to be able to see him just be able to kind of step up into that offense. And
Oh
again,
yeah.
the whole question was, is it Bryce Young? They don't have talent anywhere. Like Chuba Hubbard stepped up, like Deontay Johnson stepped up, like Adam Thielen stepped up. Like that was kind of crazy.
If anything, this is Dave Canales trying to save his butt and keep his job so David Tepper doesn't fire him because he
Yeah.
kept playing Bryce Young, if anything.
Fair.
And again, there were rumors Bryce Young getting traded. If we were going to throw teams out there, again, I'm Dolphins. Dolphins, you should call the Panthers and just
Hey,
Interesting.
yeah, maybe Mike McDaniels will watch McGruber with Bryce Young and then just reimagine his whole
Changes
career.
everything.
Yeah.
Changes everything.
anybody got any other teams that they would like to see Bryce Young go to?
Man, that's a tough
Um,
question.
Let me pull up the Rolodex of teams. New England.
I did see something earlier this week where I forget who it was, but somebody had put out like a graphic of like a proposed trade where Bryce Young was going to LA. And again, being with
Mm.
Stafford because he's a little bit older or Stafford then getting
Smart.
shipped out on that. So something in that regard, but I don't think that it makes sense to keep Stafford and Bryce in the same building. Like you got to get the trade value for Stafford while you still can for, let's
Yeah,
call it the next, I don't know how long the rest of his career is going to last, but I'm
I
going to
think that, but I think they would have
suggest
to
two to
keep him.
four. I'm sorry.
I think they'd have to keep him though. I just don't think they're in a place where they could get rid of his contract or
I don't think
whatever.
anybody would want to take Matt Stafford unless
Fair.
like a Russell
Mhm.
Wilson type deal.
They probably don't even have the picks either, so that'd be a really weird little. How
Yeah, it's fair.
devalued is he?
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I
I
can't.
don't. Oh, go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
I was gonna say I don't know what that perfect fit looks like for Bryce Young because frankly I don't think that we've seen him connect with an NFL offense to see where
Yeah.
he could really fit into. Like if there was some sort of
Raiders.
that's not bad either. Could
They
take
just
over Las
steal him,
Vegas,
steal him.
right?
And then we go, but let's say you don't need Bryce Young because Matt Stafford come from behind win, beats the San Francisco 49ers 27-24. Absolute letdown by the 49ers. Josh, let Kyle Shanahan hear it.
Oh yeah. I mean, the man of fumbling it late fumbles it late. And I love that.
No bigger hater of Kyle Shanahan than the one and only Josh Taylor here on the
Oh
Pros and
yeah.
the Bleachers podcast.
It's part of it is again, if you're gonna be like one of those fancy little I'm an offensive genius guru kind of guy, like and you're gonna be in the Super Bowl a bunch of times, maybe you should try winning one.
I don't hate the take.
You can't. I guess you can't really argue that, but he is a very good offensive coordinator in the West Coast offense.
Oh
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I
Uh,
mean where respect is due, he is good, but also like where respect is due when it matters.
Understandable.
Yeah, that Rams team is definitely going to have to find some weapons to be able to be there consistently. And like some guys stepped up, like Demarcus Robinson and other guys that would definitely be able to kind of get open on some larger routes. But other than that, it'll be very interesting to see if Kyron Williams and, some of the kind of that core unit that's still there, even when like Cooper Cup and Puka are out, whether they step up or not.
Very impressive. Hopefully they continue that. And we're gonna go to the land of Jerry World, where the Ravens beat the Dallas Cowboys 28-25. Jake had some hope until only let it get crushed by Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, man. It's tough for us Cowboys fans right now. I will tell you that at least from this week to last week, the cool piece to see was the fight at the end. By cool, I mean I still am not happy by by any means. But you know, our team really could be a three-layer team. Like we could be a team that has like a clicking offense and a defense that's consistently there and a special teams that show up because like the special teams unit are not, at least for the Cowboys, like I like to think like most of the time is like pretty dynamic and nothing, top of the league or anything. But then the defense, everyone's saying it's top of the league and we're just getting killed. And then the offense is supposed to be, this big gauntlet with CeeDee Lamb and, bunch of different people that we can get the ball out to. And frankly, I just, as a Cowboys fan, I'm sad. I'm not, I'm not happy.
If you can't run the ball, you won't win games.
It's true.
I
And
mean,
I just I don't see Zeke getting used. And that's something as a Cowboys fan, especially like,
Brother,
someone,
he's too used. That's why.
I understand that, but I just don't see the fact that like it in my head, it doesn't make sense to bring him in there and then to not use him as like your primary back. And like, again, it's run it till the wheels fall off in my head. That's how we used it prior.
Ezekiel Elliott is an Ford F-150 with like 500,000 miles on it. That hasn't had the oil changed.
Oh yeah, he's like a terrible like early 2010s Lightning model that's got like a ticker. It's like it's just going down the highs, it's going down the road.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I will tell you, seeing teams put up consistent points against a defense that's supposed to be top notch is not fun.
Hey, I mean, you guys just don't have the meat.
Yeah.
Fourth quarter Moxie.
What do you mean?
Hang your hat on fourth quarter Moxie. Hang it in his face right now. Do it now.
I'll try my best. What I'm going to hang my hat on, if I'm going to be completely honest, is this upcoming Thursday night football game where Dallas is playing against the Giants. And
if you don't win this game,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like this is the year. Like this is the year where you walk in and you just put up 45-0. Like you need to be able to like have this as like a morale boosting win. This isn't like, oh, they won but they didn't cover again. It's like, oh, this is a division matchup. Like you can let this one slide and still go 1-1. No. This is win time. This is demon mode, if you will. We're unlocking.
We need memeable Daniel Jones faces.
Please.
And also on the Raven side, stop blowing games late. It's what stop.
It's getting annoying. I was confident with my bet and then they fucking blew the cover.
I didn't even bet on you. I just wanted you to win. And I was like, wait, I thought you won. And then I looked over and all of a sudden the scores like I'm like, whoa, wait. I pre-wrote a bunch of shit talk. I need to pay attention. I gotta lock in here.
I feel you, man. Again, the onside kick at the end, like being able to show a little bit of fight is cool, but big game versus Giants next week. And then you go into some big games. You play the Steelers, the Lions, the 49ers, and back-to-back weeks after that Giants matchup. And I mean, this could easily be the start of a slide. I'm not going to be the only negative Cowboys fan in the world saying this isn't our year. But seeing this team week over week, I'm not super thrilled, not super happy, not super convinced we're going deep again.
They tried to kick the dust off Mike Zimmer and might be a couple layers.
Could be.
That'll be remain to be seen. And we go to the big toaster oven in Arizona where the Cardinals get let down while the Lions beat them 20-13. The Cardinals offense fell flat. Kyler Murray backed down to reality.
Well, dude, what showed up was the Lions running game. Holy crap. They ran for like 200 yards. Like, and again, that's the type of show that I think all Lions fans are looking to see, is to also run the ball, to get Amon-Ra involved. I think the one thing they did not want to see is Sammy Laporta, or my internal nickname that I'm coining for him, Sammy Laps. We're wishing the best for him because it looked like that he went out on a cart at one point. So as a fantasy owner, as a fan of watching him, definitely a little bit worried for where the news comes out on that, but we'll see. Lions, good win.
Dan Campbell, wheeling dealing son of a bitch alert. An Amon-Ra to Jahmyr Gibbs hook and ladder touchdown.
Yeah, the Boise State legacy is alive.
Yeah,
what's that, Josh?
I said the Boise State legacy is alive.
Yep.
There you go. Boise State always getting the mention. But I will tell you that Amon-Ra, St. Brown fantasy owners are probably punching the air, being like, oh, well, I should get at least a point for a lateral or something like that. But no, Gibbs gets all the points. It's great. It's absolute slop. Gibbs owners love it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And we go to Atlanta Hot Zone. Is it Hot Zone 6 or Hot Zone 9, whatever you want to call it?
Something like that.
I don't know. Sorry, Atlanta fans. I'm not about that culture. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Falcons are winning 7-0 against the Chiefs. Just don't bet on the Chiefs to cover ever. We're not watching the game currently, unfortunately, but Kirk Cousins is him with 100% completion on 5 for 5 with a touchdown to Drake London again.
We don't
happening.
Scripted plays.
Scripted plays. This isn't Taylor Swift's here and the Mercedes Dome. This isn't supposed to be what's supposed to happen. Or maybe
Patrick
she's not
Mahomes
there.
just threw an interception.
I was just gonna say, look at that. We got ourselves a game here for Atlanta. This could be upset alert.
Dude, they suck. Dude, the Chiefs are honestly what I thought was going to be a great year for them has become completely overrated. And another fool's gold alert. They should have won
Hey,
that.
hold on.
Oh, come on. The Ravens they were a one big toe from Isaiah Likely from losing that game potentially. And then
Mike
what?
Leach.
Who did they play? The Bengals last week, and they barely covered against them.
Mm-hmm.
Covering, agreed, but still
Great teams
2-0.
cover,
And that-
Jake. We've said it before. Great teams cover. Agree or disagree?
I
You guys
totally
look like fools when we clip this later, and the Chiefs obviously win in the second
exactly.
half.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is that this is the
Drew
inevitable?
will look like a fool.
they are going to come back and win this game. That's at least I believe that to happen, and I think that it's because we've seen it time and time again where this team faces adversity, and they always get kind of counted out. Probably like let's call it third quarter ish of like, oh, maybe this is just going to be the game that just it never clicks, right? But then Patrick Mahomes, and I'm curious to see what happens here, folks. It'll be fun.
Whatever. I've eaten enough crow on the show at this point during this stupid season. It's only week 3, so whatever.
I mean, in a sicko brain way, like Jalen Hurts had another not good interception, and Patrick Mahomes just threw a not good interception, and my brain's like, well, if he can do it, then I guess it's okay. Week by week, baby. Week by week.
Here's a guy. That's just what you want to do. You just want to throw an interception in the red zone. Great play by Patrick Mahomes.
Great
Watch
play
out over there.
But we'll go ahead into the Monday night games doubleheader. The first game to lead us off is the Buffalo Bills take on the Jaguars at home. What do we like?
Bills in a gross way. Trevor Lawrence in a again, brother, you're counting your days until I'm just calling you Carson Wentz ways.
It's Bills money line day in, day out. Again, I feel like we don't really need to overthink this one. The offense is clicking, defense is going to show up. There's not too much more than that.
We might have to touch. We're going to touch on a little bit later in the show about that game, both games actually, and then the Washington Commies headed into the Queen City of Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. This is a game I see the Bengals getting right against a horrible Washington defense.
Well, as a fan, at least hopes are high, right?
Oh yeah, totally. So excited! I can't wait to see Joe Burrow put up like 400 yards on our defensive core. So
you're in on like a get right game for the Bengals.
I mean, there's 7-point underdogs. If they can actually score a touchdown in the red zone, they may win. If not, probably not. That's my expert analysis.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, we won't spend too much time on that game, unfortunately. We're gonna move on to our current events, what we saw throughout the week. I'll lead us off first. You guys know that I guess young basketball league, they wear like green and pink like turtle shell looking jerseys. Jake, you probably know, like on Slam Basketball.
Yeah, like an AAU team.
Something like that, sure. There's a 13-year-old who's 7'3". These kids need to stop growing because guess what? Kids at this height at that age don't turn out to be that good.
That's crazy. That 7'3" at 13. Holy crap.
More of that special chicken nuggets that they have at McDonald's that make you more chill.
I don't know how tall Victor Wembanyama was at 13 years old, but from what I saw, not to put a damper on this kid's dreams, but he's kind of slow. Kind of slow.
It's gotta build some muscle.
Yeah, got to grow into the body. He's 13.
He needs to be getting in the gym and getting those fast twitch muscle fibers activated ASAP. Build on that. And then my last thing I had was Caden Edwards, 4-star college basketball recruit, did a quadruple fake out in his decision to whether to go to Colorado or TCU. The man put on one hat, took it off, Colorado, put on TCU, took that off, had a Colorado shirt, proceeds to take that off with TCU, and then finally put on the TCU hat.
So he's going to TCU.
Yes, he's going to TCU to play basketball.
Wow.
Brother, you're
Colorado fans are
a
going through
four-star.
Yeah,
hoops.
that was one of the comments. He's like, dude, you're 4-star. Put your hat up and get on with it.
Get back in the lab.
I appreciate the showmanship a bit, but that's a lot.
It's excessive. Yeah, you're not what's his Cooper? You're not Cooper Flag. You're not that guy,
no.
bro.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
not that
no.
guy. Are you that guy? Yeah, I'm that guy. But Jake, what did you have for your current events?
Well, in my world, I feel like it's only proper that since we're getting towards the end of the baseball season, that I just give you a little bit of update week over week of what we've got in our baseball race watches, if you will. So I've got 50-50 with Shohei, of him getting the 50 home runs, obviously getting the 50 stolen bases. That's already been crossed off. But in the last 6 games, including the game today versus the Rockies, 6 home runs and 7 stolen bases in the last 6 games. That's crazy.
3 of those home
crazy.
runs came in one game.
Obviously they did. Yeah, he had the big game this week. But I think the cool part of this is that prior to the one that he had today, just because I couldn't pull up the numbers prior to this, but the 5 last home runs that he's had, average distance is 418 feet. And in every ballpark, it's going out, So again, just being able to see him just continue to mash balls. Currently, he's at 53 and 55 after today's game.
His swing is so pure.
It's nuts. I saw that there's a fun little clip of Skip Schumacher after the game of whether they would decide to walk him or not. He's like,
Yeah.
no, that's bad for baseball. Like I'm a competitor. He's a competitor. Like I want to see him get after it. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's exactly how it should be.
You respect a manager who's lost like 100 games or almost 100 games, or probably will, and is like, no, we're not going to anger the baseball gods throwing the ball.
Right. Yeah. Play the game. Play the game the way it should be played. Well, to that. And the next kind of race that I was looking at, it would be the 40-40 watch on Jose Ramirez, and 37 and 40 right now is where we're at. So he's already across on the stolen bases. That's the first time in his career that he's ever gotten to 40 as a category, which is pretty cool to see. Again, Josh, I know that this is probably, I think this might be the first time I'm talking about Jose Ramirez while you're on the pod as well. It's not just me representing Cleveland for you. So look at that. We're making it happen, but
synergizing.
Yes. And over the last 6 games, including the loss today against the Cardinals, he had 2 home runs and 1 stolen base in that span. So still chunking away with some games to go. And then the final one, because we haven't had Matt in a bit, I'm going to continue touching on Ellie De La Cruz because that's his kind of, that's his piece for us right now, is that he is hunting that 25 and 70 season. And right now he's got 25 home runs and 65 stolen bases. So he needs 5 more over the next couple of games. But he's kind of slumping a little bit recently. In his last 6 games, he only has 1 home run and 1 stolen base, including the loss today to the Pirates from Skeens. So it'll be a little bit interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out,
I think
It's crazy that Skeens hasn't been shut down yet.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he should be.
Yeah, you want to see him keep throwing heat, Jake. That's right.
Hell yeah, dude. That it's bad for baseball.
Because you want him for Cy Young.
Well, at one point I had him, but that was in something else that, yeah, come on. They never stay alive, but when it comes to at least seeing Paul Skeens right now, like, again, you want to see these guys continue to play great baseball. And when they're playing well, and it's just going to continue to get them that 1 or 2 extra reps to now lead into another season of them being able to get some momentum, instead of like being pissed that they got shut down. Now they're in their head of like, oh, well, if I had really shown up and I'd really done this, like let the guys play, you're paying them to play. Might as well.
I will continue on with the baseball appreciation. We got MLB postseason hype. I've attached a bracket for our little notes for you guys to reference if you wouldn't mind looking.
I'll post it right here, whatever.
And currently, as the standings have been sitting, I was curious if who we like as the favorites for the top seeds. Obviously, this seems to get the bye between Cleveland, New York, the Phillies, and the Dodgers. Now, there's a little bit of homerism here. Obviously, I'm a Cleveland fan. Jake is he's a Dodgers fan. So,
I'm a Nats fan.
Yeah, where are they? But that aside, I think for the NL, we can start there. I think I'm going to throw my hat in on the Phillies. I think that is a pretty good rotation. Oh, the dog's firing off.
The dog liked the Phillies, apparently. Hercules
He
liked the
does.
Phillies.
He's a sleeper Phillies fan. And I think that, yeah, I think that rotation's a little better than where the Dodgers are at. Obviously that's going to meet Shohei Ohtani, and that is going to be a real fun. Well, not obviously, but hopefully. But yeah, I think that's my current pick for that one.
I think NL again. I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to take the Dodgers for sure. I think that what we're seeing right now, like from a team perspective, like this is how you want to see a team clicking, like going into October. Like they've got a ton of team juice going on. The pitching is showing up. Like again, we're playing in some tougher games, and the game today versus the Rockies wasn't necessarily beautiful. And again, for probably the last 20, there's been a handful that haven't been great, but seems like spirits are up. People are obviously, really rallying around everything that's going on with Shohei. So give me Dodgers in the NL.
From what I see we have either, I hope it stays the way it does because we have Arizona versus the Padres, and hopefully we have a rivalry. Love to see that. Dodgers go to the championship. And then I hope the Mets beat the Brewers, go into Philly. Mets beat Philly, and then Philly fans have to deal with the stings like, wow, we really lost to the Mets. And then Dodgers beat the Mets. So that would be cool for my perspective. Whether that happens, probably not, but that'd be great.
And then I guess we'll move over to the AL side. Obviously, I like Cleveland. As long as they get a lead early, which the home run ball will obviously be the problem for them. Not really a problem, but the challenge. But I'm obviously going to pick Cleveland.
Is Stephen Kwan going to be healthy for the playoffs?
I would think so. I think
That'll be a big decision to know.
last time I saw it was like full body fatigue. It was why he missed a day, and then I think what is it, the hamstring?
Give that man
maybe?
some electrolytes.
Exactly. But yeah, I think he'll be back. I think it's kind of a little bit precautionary, but there's a lot of young boppers on the team that are swinging the bat quite nice. So, young scrappy team.
I think AL wise, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Baltimore makes a run, but I don't think I'm gonna take
Really?
I
Mm.
listen, I think that the main reason why is because there have been teams in the past that walk in with a rotation that kind of looks speculative, but then they have one guy, and in this case, it's Corbin Burns, who has the experience, who's just an absolute machine. You know what I mean? And hopefully, if you get in a series that gets you to 5 games, then he's pitching at least 2 of them. You're hoping as an organization that's at least 2 wins. And then again, if you're able to get your bats hot, that Orioles lineup is scary, man. And again, for Kansas
Mhm.
City, like I see Bobby Witt, I see them have a decent bullpen. Like those are scary things. But other than that, I don't really know what's keeping you up at night about Kansas City. I see Baltimore being able to kind of make it through. And then Yankees are always a little bit speculative.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can be the guy that predicts the Yankees crumbling now. But once we see their matchup, it could definitely be like that, man. Their pitching is not anything to be able to, say that they're a postseason level starting rotation or even bullpen. Like
Mhm.
it's coming from the offense, and that's going to be an offense that's going to have to get some home games and get some momentum in home games to be able to capitalize and, you know, make it a little bit deeper.
If this playoff picture, as the way it is right now, the Kansas City Royals versus the Orioles will be a stink off, and whoever wins that gets to get their face kicked in by the Yankees. Personally, that's what I see
And that's
happening.
even if the Royals make it, because they're only one game above the Twins and one game above the Twins, 2 games ahead of the Mariners. Um, which I don't think either of those teams are going to replace them.
No, I don't think so
Uh,
either. Twins could go on a little bit of a run. They're a little bit of a scary team. I will tell you, I don't think
They're
it's going to be.
collapsing.
Yeah, I know they're collapsing a little bit right now, but they could get. They can still get there, and that's I
Mhm.
think the biggest thing, right? I will tell you that if the Tigers make it in, again, you're going to have a team that has a guy like Scooble where he's going to have to show it in the playoffs. But again, teams that have that one starting pitcher that can go, let's call it a solid 6, 7. I don't want to predict 8 because I feel like you can never get that out of starting pitching right now,
In the
right now in the
postseason, you
MLB.
can though.
In the postseason, you can, right? But again, if you're going with a guy like Scooble and that's his first game, you're not letting him throw 8 or 9, at least unless he's got like a low pitch count and all the signs point to yes, but it'll be interesting to see how the AL. I think the AL is a little bit more fun to watch, frankly, because there's going to be some teams where, again, like Cleveland could easily be the team that has enough talent and has enough, kind of mix of offense, pitching, having a good bullpen, right? Like being able to get there. And again, I feel like of the teams in the AL, they're probably the one on paper that has the strongest of all three. When you combine them comparatively against the AL versus in the NL, I feel like there's some big gaps between, teams like the Padres and the Brewers to where the Phillies and the Dodgers are.
Brewers are sneaky. They've had a sneaky season though.
I know they've had sneaky season, but again, I personally I don't see them making too big of a run. I
And
think
just to
if they run into the Phillies wall, they're getting clapped.
oh yeah. And just to circle back to Cleveland, they end playing the Astros. So if everything sits how it is right now, I mean that's a look ahead right there.
Playoffs before the playoffs.
Exactly. I'm really interested to see how that goes because again, I the last couple of years I have just quietly bet the Astros and hated myself because of it and it's actually worked out pretty well, money wise, but probably won't do that this year.
We shall see. The baseball playoffs are right around the corner. It's heating up. Who's gonna get in? Who's gonna get out? Hopefully not the Twins, right, Josh?
Hopefully not. Hopefully the Braves stay out too,
Right.
just because that's funny.
We'll go ahead and move on to our bench or play segment. Bench or play. I'll start off once again. Benching football referees and teams from Michigan. I want to point out that the referee spotted a ball on 4th and 1 to favor Michigan getting a conversion when they shouldn't have, and then Michigan proceeds to get a 60-yard touchdown, which they should not have gotten. Absolute just bullcrap, horse cocky. And then the Detroit Lions get a pick six taken away from, or no, excuse me, the Cardinals get a pick six taken away from them because the Lions snapped the ball at the 2-minute warning when they just barely beat it, and the refs blew the whistle too late, and it should have counted. And I'm mad because I had the Cardinals, and I'm a loser, big loser. And I'll also bench myself for picking ULM and general ass.
Hell yeah. I will tell you that whole thing with the Lions and the Cardinals and that, like, what should have been a pick six.
They can't review it. Like, how can you not review that?
I don't understand.
It was so clearly before the 2-minute warning too. Like,
oh, just because they blew the whistle, just because they choked on their whistle too late, it's just ridiculous. I was so infuriated.
Yeah.
But
Devontae Smith is injured because they choked on their whistles too.
Benching the refs and myself. Josh, what did you have?
I will be playing Andres Jimenez. So the little clip, maybe Drew will put it in there, but we'll post it.
Send it to me.
Is a little video where Andres is going, "Thank you, Rocco. Thank you, Rocco." And the Rocco that he's referencing is the manager for the Twins, or Rocco Baldelli. And so the night prior, the game on September 18th, Andres scored the game-winning run on a single by Brian Rohio. And then the next game after that, so we had already walked off the Twins the game prior. And so the game of the 19th, the current one, where he's saying, "Thank you, Rocco." They intentionally walked Lane Thomas. Shout out to the Nationals. And Andres Jimenez just made him pay, hit a single. They dunked him full of stuff. And he's saying, "Thanks, Rocco. Thanks, Rocco." And I think it's just an absolute beautiful amount of haterade.
I like it.
Hell yeah. Rocco. Goodbye.
See you later, Twins, suckers.
Well, I will tell you, at least in my world, I'm going to be playing my take from last week on how bad the Saints are, because this is something where we saw the collapse of it. This team, I just want to pull these numbers up so I don't get them wrong. They had 89 rushing yards, and they just got absolutely schooled by the Eagles when it comes to stats perspective. And again, I don't want to be here sounding like I'm supporting the Eagles by any means necessary, because I see how those eyebrows are moving right there. But I will tell you that again, this is a classic when Derek Carr plays against a good defense. He doesn't show up, and that team is going to be reliant on having a good quarterback that can get the weapons the ball. Like Alvin Kamara has not had an 1,000-yard rushing season in his career. And it's because they have had a quarterback that has been able to distribute the ball and to be able to get him utilized in the passing game. And if they don't have somebody that can do that for them, it's going to be a scary season. They were on fraud watch at 2-0. They're on really fraud watch 2-1 after this week. So I'll be playing my take from last week, which is sad that we're playing into that. But honestly, I might bench myself too on some of these egregious plays that we've had on Sunday.
Come join
The
me.
double
Come join me.
revenge game. The double
Yeah.
revenge game.
Yeah, it's so gross.
Come delegate yourself from the bleachers to the bench with me.
Please, please.
I play the most unbiased, obviously.
Oh yeah, totally. All right, that'll end our bencher play. We're gonna move on to worst or best tweet. What I saw this week was the best was Stephen A. Smith picking Pokemon and pronouncing them. We had Chekarita. We had
So
him
good.
pronounce Cyndaquil absolutely beautifully, and we had Totodile. I thought that was pretty funny, and he picked Cyndaquil as his Pokemon to pick because you don't want to mess with that. Cyndaquil got fire coming off that back. You don't want to get near that. Staying away.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'll pick.
That's actually a great pick. I'm not gonna lie.
He's an elite pick.
Spits
So-
fire.
Stephen A. Smith picking Cyndaquil, not Totodile or Chekarita.
That's an elite design for that era.
Oh, I
Those
know. Yeah,
stars.
that was the Sinnoh region. Sinnoh, is that right,
Something like
Josh?
that, yeah, silver and gold, I think.
Yeah. Ho ho Lugia. Josh, what did you see on Twitter? What did you have?
So mine is a tweet referencing the White Sox, and they have officially done it, or not officially done it, but they've tied it. They tied the modern day record for losses in a season with their 120th loss.
So gross.
And so with 6 games to go, I think it's pretty safe to say it's probably inevitable that they will lose one more game and make history. And so I put a couple of stats here, some fun stats, 2 of them. They have an outscore 214 to 105 in the 7th and 8th inning this year. So they're just collapsing late all the time. And then Shohei Ohtani last night had a 0.7 FWAR. And the White Sox offense the last 2 seasons combined has
That's
had a negative
crazy.
2.6. And so just so people know, F4 is an estimated value that includes all aspects of the game: batting, running, and fielding. So
That's insane.
So yeah, Shohei Ohtani single-handedly has had just better nights than the White Sox have had the last 2 years.
Is this worse than going 0-16 in the NFL or 0-17?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's the problem with baseball is that there's so many games to where it's like, how do you compare teams that lost every game? It's like the NBA too. Like there's not going to be a team that goes 0-82, right? Like they're going to win like a, cupcake or two. And that's like, oh, well, it wasn't a 0. They're not the losingest team of all time. It's hard to compare winning percentages or I think that winning percentage has got to be more of the thing you look at.
I'm almost positive I saw a player crying on the field that they were posting the other day.
It's so good.
Yeah, right here. I'm not sure if that's been a sadder person on earth than Manuel Vargas since he got traded to the White Sox. Oh, maybe he's not. It looks like he's crying in the photo. He's got puffy eye, like he wants to cry. But I think that's way worse.
You hang the White Sox banner in the rafters with the 0-16 Lions, Browns, and as well as the 76ers before trust the process.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hang the banner. Jake, what did you see?
Well, I saw some fun stuff in the land of college football. And I bet you guys did too. So it was the University versus Buffalo versus Northern Illinois. Again, Buffalo coming in and just absolutely upsetting Northern Illinois, which is great. If you were watching, that final score was 23-20, and it was from a game-winning kick. Now the best part about all of this is that the kicker, when he makes it and it ends up going through the uprights, Drew, I'll send you the picture. He ends up flipping off everybody basically as he's making that and he's getting tackled, and it's just phenomenal. But it's the first time that Northern Illinois was ranked since 2013, and it's just crumbling, man. Like that's a tough game to where you first get into the top 20 and then you get shoved out. But Man, I might make that picture my wall screen or something, or my wallpaper or something like that. It's just too good.
Yep, Mac plays opening and it has begun and it's hot.
Maction, baby. We're back.
Maction, Mountain West Action.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely insane. That'll end our worst or best tweet. We're going to move on to our bleacher ranking segment. Top 5 bets for Monday Night Football doubleheader tomorrow. Who wants to go first? Who's got a spicy bet for Monday night?
Well, spicy. I don't know about spicy, but I think that the way that I'm going to start this whole thing off is that Bills -5.5. I want the spread. I want them winning by a touchdown. I believe that's buying it by at least a point down because I think the true spread is at least 6.5. But I'm buying it down by a few points. I see them winning this game, but something about it just it makes me feel a little bit weird, and maybe I should be more confident at like buying the spread up. I'm sorry, buying it closer to like a 10. But that's just the vibe right now. Is I think that it should be an easy sweat. Bills by a touchdown.
Josh, your number
Um,
5?
My number 5, I will be taking the under for the Commanders Bengals game. I don't know how much I'm committed to a get right game for the Bengals. Maybe a little bit of self destruction from Jaden Daniels, a little bit more of those growing pains, and another week in the NFL, and another primetime under that is going to slap Rooney.
You and your primetime unders, man.
It's not me, it's the trend.
It's
No,
not me, it's the game.
now you guys are hating on the Jaguars. I'm going to show them the only bit of love I have for them in this one pick with Brian Thomas Jr. anytime touchdown +250, great value, their best player. Maybe okay, 1A Travis Etienne, 1A, 1B Brian Thomas Jr. Give me Bryce Thomas at 5 anytime.
I like it. All right. Well, with my number 4, I'm going to go with Brian Robinson Jr. With the Commanders going over 70.5 rushing receiving yards. And the reason why I feel like I'm doing this is because at the end of the day, it's going to be a situation where they're going to be kind of getting those outlet passes. They're going to be putting themselves in a position where they're going to be able to capitalize both of the running and passing game. So give me Brian Robinson -120 on that.
And then I will be taking a Bengals spread. I was waiting for Drew's boo.
How about a sigh of just despair?
But I would like to buy it down underneath. I get the
Coward.
Get it -6.5 at -145. Again, just a safe little, maybe a little juice on the parlay, just something to keep you attentive.
A little juicy, little juice action, juicy juice action. For my number 4, any love I had for the Jaguars is now gone. Josh Allen passing over 231.5 on my book. Book on the over. He's gonna rock the yard.
I like that. They're going to be moving the ball. Should be fun to see how we exactly get around, whether it's through the big plays or through like chunk yardage. We'll see how that game goes. On my side, for my third best bet of this Monday Night Football slate, give me Cameron Little getting over 1.5 field goals. And I've been kicked in as the kicker guy. But my big thing on this is I just don't think that offense is going to produce, but I think that they're going to get just enough to put him within range. He's shown that he can get a 50-yarder plus. Put me down for Cameron Little +110 on that action.
So my third one will be Trevor Lawrence under 0.5 interceptions at +110. So currently he has yet to throw a pick. Who knows? In the prime time, does that change? It might. But for me right now, well, he seems to be protecting the ball quite a bit.
Somebody has to replace Kirk Cousins in primetime interception letdowns. Maybe it's not Trevor Lawrence. You could be onto something. We might have to find somebody else.
Maybe
Jaden Daniels. I don't know. Just kidding. My number 3, give me Brian Robinson, homer pick, anytime touchdown, +130 on my book. I need some sort of sanity and support and excitement. I want to see a touchdown. I'm really happy that Austin Seabrook got a game record 7 field goals last week, but I would like some red zone competence this week ease. So give me that number 3.
Yeah, I like that at the 3. I also want a touchdown. So put me down as my number 2 with James Cook for an anytime touchdown at plus 130. Obviously, he's been the bell cow. I feel like that Jacksonville defense is not going to be showing up nearly as well as it showed up in years past. Give me James Cook. Let's cook, baby.
And piggyback offing Jake, my 2 will be James Cook over 62.5 yards
Let's
at
go.
minus 120. So we had a letdown on Josh Allen rushing yards. Who knows if this is a game where it returns, but it's a long season. It seems like he ran a lot in the opener, and they were like, "Hey, we got running
Take it
backs.
easy. Take it easy.
Calm down, guy." And so, yeah, I will be taking James Cook over 62.5 yards.
Not too shabby. We love James Cook on the show, cooking it up. My number 2, give me Jamar Chase over 6.5 receptions. This Washington defense has nobody at cornerback, and if Joe Burrow is gonna have to get a get right game, it's gonna have to be this game. Figure it out, because there's nobody at defensive back other than Benjamin St. Juice, who's not even that great. I'm not gonna name any of the other defensive backs on this Washington team because nobody knows who they are. So Jamar Chase will feast over 6.5 receptions. Book it.
I like that. That's a fun little one right there. Well, I'm gonna go for my number 1 top best bet going into Monday Night Football. Revenge game, Gabe Davis, baby. I want Gabe Davis over 39.5 receiving yards. And the reason why is because it's already hit in 2 of 2 games this year, and it's the revenge game. I don't believe in Jacksonville whatsoever. I don't know what I don't know what is going on with it, but I will tell you, there's just something about watching Gabe Davis play and like that slot receiver and him being able to get open on a couple of crazy plays. I'm booking him down for 39.5 yards, baby.
He's hurt me so many times.
He's boomer bust, but again, put me down as this is the game. He's got revenge. He's got the juice going into it. 39.5. Book it.
At least I know where to find you. For my number 1 will be Josh Allen under 30.5 passing attempts at minus 125. Now you might be like, whoa, that's crazy. Josh Allen's a good quarterback. He throws for a lot of yards, and he does. You are right. But in the last 2 games that he has played in the season, the only 2 games, he has not reached over 23 attempts, 19 against Miami and 23 against Arizona. So that's my number 1, my lock. Josh Allen under 30.5 passing attempts.
Hopefully that's not the case with my pick. He has some early bombs and whatnot. But not too many conflicting bets other than some shade thrown against my team, and that's kind of deserved. But my number 1 pick, give me the Bills first quarter spread. I hope they come out firing. You know what? If anything, take the Bills spread in every quarter. Make it easy. They're gonna dominate. I hope they dominate. I hope they come out just gangbusters and give me the spread to cover, because I think it was like 0.5. Like that's it as a favorite. So
Well, first quarters always get a little bit scary because then you start talking about like possession time and whatnot, but I
Scripted
love
drives.
it. I love it.
I don't buy into
So
scripted drives, baby.
just give
Well,
yourself
except for first touchdown.
just give yourself an easy first win and enjoy the rest of the night. Hopefully that's the case. If not, I'll be by the train tracks.
I like
Or he'll
it.
be powering on Madden.
Yeah, I'm playing as the Bills first quarter, just up like 100-0 against Jags.
My one honorable mention that I'll just sneak in there. My roommate and I, we always play this game of who's getting first touchdown and looking through and kind of, he's not a huge football fan, but he'll go through the names with me and kind of figure it out. We're going Dalton Kincaid first touchdown in the Bills game plus 1100. It's going to be gross. It's going to be grimy. We're not putting too much on it, but listen, it could be a lot of fun.
Oh, I hope your roommate's right, because he has not been showing up to games. He had a little get right game a little bit last week, but
Oh yeah.
Josh Allen needs to feed him the ball, hopefully.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
just don't see Jacksonville having that kind of defenseman or at least that defense to be able to kind of really interject into that tight end scheme. Now, whether it's Dawson Knox or whether it's Dalton Kincaid, that's going to be the real question. I think that the tight ends have a decent game.
But if it does hit, we'll
That's
be
the
going
hope.
bonkers.
Going crazy.
But that'll end our top 5, and that'll wrap up the show. Thank you for everybody tuning in. We truly appreciate it. Go hit the subscribe button right now, like the video, share it to a friend. We want to grow and build this community. Have fun with us. Go to Spotify, go to our TikTok, and unfortunately, there might not be any $100 bets coming in the future. Who knows? We'll have to recoup, but that'll do it. And this was another episode of Bros in the Bleachers podcast.
Yeah, post your college bell cows below.
Yeah, do it.